All right, so in this video, we're going to be discussing the importance of follow-ups and something that is a lot more prevalent if you are a one-man team, if you're doing everything yourself, as opposed to having a setter that does it for you, and just kind of how to navigate them, how to navigate follow-ups, how to conduct them, how to be professional without being pushy, and the importance of them in general. And so the truth is, most of my closes have came from follow-ups, right? Like one of the mentorships that I just joined, the mentor himself, most of his closes, or 40 to 50% of them, come from follow-ups. And so with this and with knowing this information, it's saying, okay, if this is going to be an acceptable truth for how things are how things are, it's an inevitable truth that we have to confront. How can I make the follow-ups to my advantage? And so one of the things that really started to shift the way prospects see us is by giving them something excited to look for, something to look towards, something curious, something value driven. And instead of on the follow-ups just simply being like 2 3 days after we didn't close and they no showed the follow-up or whatever it was, or if you have a follow-up scheduled, instead of being like, hey Mike, how you doing? What's going on? It's me. It's Marco. I know that we spoke, 2 3 days ago, and so I'm calling to see if this is something that you're still considering. Like, don't give them that option. Don't ask them how they are. This is all just irrelevance, completely irrelevant. Instead, give them something value driven. Give them something to look towards. Hey, Mike, how's it going? It's Marco. Yeah, so since we last spoke, I did X, Y, and Z for your company, and I'm going to share it with you on our next call. And it's great. I mean, we've done this. We've done, our competitor analysis for all of our clients now. And so I definitely think you'll make great use of it, even if, the program doesn't work out. Not a problem. If it does, then great. This is just an additional resource for you for our next call. Boom, value, something that they can look towards. And this is how we differentiate ourselves. We all know the saying in marketing, being different is better than being better. Instead of being better on these initial calls and just talking shit, you need to be different. And these people don't really hear this that often. And it's all about them. It's the benefits. It's what's in it for them, right? It really just comes down to, will this benefit me? Will this increase my status if I'm a roofer, right? Like, will this increase my status? Will I have a crystal clear ROI as to what I'm doing? And that's pretty much what it boils down to. And it's really important to keep that in mind, in that it's about your prospects. It's not about you, especially on sales calls. If you're getting a little pushy or whatever it might be, and your ego might start to get hurt, it's not about you. Drop your ego. Just be curious. Make it about them. That's why we use the discovery to collect as much ammunition for the pitch, so that we can say, hey, I know you said this, but this is how we're different. I know you said lead quality was poor, but this is how we're different. I know you said you weren't getting results. Well, this is how we track our results, and this is why it's important to you, right? It's about them. It's about them. It's about them. So second point, that was the first one. I mean, most closes do come from follow-ups. That's the truth. And with this, you have to understand that this is okay, and that follow-ups suck. It's not fun, okay? Not closing a deal and then saying, oh crap, let me book this guy in, and then the person no showing the follow-up, that's on us. And so we have the main series for email and SMS when it comes to the main demo call, but we have an additional one for follow-ups. The follow-ups don't have as much SMS, they don't have as many emails, but they just have like a 24-hour timer, a 6-hour timer, a 1-hour timer, and like a 5-minute timer beforehand with an SMS saying, hey, I'm on the call. Here's the link. And you drop the link. Something less pushy. Now, what I will say is I've become a lot more aggressive in my follow-ups and on the intro call as well. I've become a lot more aggressive. I've implemented certain techniques where it's just spamming the crap out of them email-wise and SMS-wise, giving them value, giving them testimonials and social proof. And I've only ever had one cancellation out of close to 50 calls now, I would say. Yeah, I mean, it's something that broke my belief in being too pushy. Because the truth is, when you genuinely believe in what you're doing and helping people, then it's not a matter of being pushy, but rather you wanting to help them more than they want to help themselves. And that's something that in the beginning you will have a hard time grasping, because it's like, oh, I feel like I'm being pushy or whatever it is. You're not being pushy. Okay. And this is kind of rolling into the third point here. You're not being pushy. I've only had one person say, yeah, I don't like the way you do your marketing. We're an already established company. Take us off your sales call. Like, cool. That's it. abundance mindset. There's always more. There's always more to tackle. There's always more to take on. And so, I mean, that's another issue. That's a separate topic, abundance versus scarcity and lack mindset, right? But you're not being pushy. You're being a professional because you believe in what you're doing. And so I will say also there's a fine line between like the follow-up person ghosting you, not showing up to the call, and you wanting to get a hold of them one last time before they give you a crystal clear yes or no. And so what I mean by this is as follows. Getting a no on a sales calls is tough. Nobody likes being rejected. But it's even more uncomfortable for the prospect to say no to your face. And that's why confrontation is intimidating. And that's why people need to say, I need to think about it, or let me speak with this person. It's a smokescreen for the reality they're not ready to confront. And obviously it's our job to kind of guide them and influence them in the right direction, right? That's our job. But when you don't get the sale, the follow-ups, they're a pain in the ass, but you have to do them because that's exactly why you're going to win, because nobody else does the follow-ups. Everybody just takes the intro and says, screw it, to hell with that person, maybe 1 or 2 calls afterwards, and that's it. But this is truly where the money's made. And there was a point as well for me where I was just really frustrated with getting follow-ups. And it goes back to you not being good enough at sales and you not being the best salesperson you can be. And that's on you. That's on me. And so that's the real bottleneck. And once that's solved, the follow-up problem will take care of itself. But let's say we don't close. Now, I came across a situation the other day where I had a relatively warm prospect. And I thought, okay, if this checks out on the follow-up, he'll likely close. What ends up happening is the follow-up comes 5 minutes before. Hey, Marco, can't make the follow-up. I'm like, okay. 5 minutes before, it's kind of fucked up, really unprofessional. Is this serious, or is he just wasting my time? Right? Because now I'm questioning like whether or not he actually believes in the program. And I reach back out. I'm dialing with 3-4 times over, multiple times a day. And I got to a point where I called him like 15 times in a row, and he answers, and he's like, yo, what the fuck? I'm like, yo, what do you mean, what the fuck? Give me an answer just to make sure we're on the same page. Are you serious about getting to 10 million revenue like what we spoke about on our call, or not? Like, that's serious. And so the point I'm trying to make is there's a fine line between being pushy versus being professional. In this case, I just needed a clear yes or no as to whether or not he'd work with me. Because, like I said, saying no to someone's face is intimidating. It's scary. Nobody wants to do that. That's why prospects just ghost you. Like that's why they don't tell you yes or no. And so in this case, I'm at a stage where it's just pure violent action, and this is part of that pure violent action. And even if it means burning a lead, burning the bridge with that prospect in pursuit of not wasting my time and getting the deal closed, then so be it. Abundance mindset. On to the next. Who cares? But the upside is, oh, it worked out. We hopped on another call. Or, hey, yeah, Marco, thanks for calling me. I've been super busy. Let's hop on another call. Like, there's so many different variables to account for in this entire process. But what I will say is that in the beginning, or honestly at any stages, it's just pure violent action. And this is one of those ways of that type of action, right? So there is a fine line between pushy, professional, super aggressive. And to be honest, you'll find the people who will say yes, and then we serve those clients and get them the results they deserve. But I hope this video helps you guys understand that the importance of follow-ups is beyond what you can comprehend. And most of the money, most of the deals are going to come from that, especially if you're pitching higher ticket, not like 1K retainers, right? If you're doing PIFs for 90-day programs, whether it's 5, 6, 7, 8K, whatever it is that you're doing, most of the money is going to come from the follow-ups. Now, this is all separate from the one call close. Like, if we got to this point, obviously the issue seems to be the sales aspect, and we need to improve our sales. But this is what's after the sales and what comes from not closing. So don't get disappointed when you don't close. Put them into a separate series, nurture campaign in high level, create that, schedule it for the follow-up call. If they ghost once, spam the hell out of them. If they ghost twice, on to the next. Or if they if they book twice and ghost twice, then just on to the next. That's it. If somebody's not willing to sit down for 30 minutes and have a serious business relationship or conversation, then they might not even be the person we want to work with in the first place. And that's another thing as well, is that you can become pretty selective with who you guys want to work with. And that's kind of going to gatekeep the integrity of the program and make people actually get results and make your program like legit. So I know there's tons of, I mean, I've declined roofers multiple times, whether it's they just weren't making enough or the mindset was broken and I just didn't want to work with that type of person. So you can become really selective with who you're working with, but first in the beginning, you need to work with everyone. So hope this video helps, and I'll see you in the next.